hands on the beat, bitch.
Hey, it's that time to play brand asset options. I'm just saying, switch it out and switch it in
Brand asset options.
so we can say
Pop-up button. Double tap tap. 15407. Brand asset options.
what is good, what is going on, what's the business, y'all. You know what we're doing. It's another new wave of things to talk about. So while we take this time, just give me a quick second here.
Folders. Off. Show.
I'm gonna do the one thing I didn't have the time to do, which is put this comment and post it.
Indisputable. Modal. Dialogue.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna put it in for you guys. I'm gonna get it in here for my YouTubers, my Facebook folks, and yeah, we're gonna make sure you guys get in here. Hold on a second. Just bear with me, because I know it's looking kind of weird on this end, because I'm sitting here flipping the screen and doing all kind of weird shit. Screen doing a lot of shaking around and shit. I know. Just give me a minute. It's because the tablet decides when it wants to do what it's supposed to do, which is usually like the right thing.
In list. https://on.sound. Pin. http. Showing English. Settings. https://
Give me that.
Home
That's
button.
what I'm talking
Window
about.
navigation bar. Space.
First time, bro. I need that.
Editing. Modal. Editing. Close. Chat.
Give me that. We in here, yo. We almost ready to go. We have to just pin these up.
Keyboard hidden.
After they post in, I'm about to pin them up for you guys so you know where we are.
PZTV. The PZ Show Live. HT. Comment act.
Give me that one. Got them.
StreamYard.
One down, one to go. Getting them in. We're getting it in. So y'all just let me know what we doing, because like I said, today is one of those days we talking about motivation, keeping the mind motivated with things that's always gonna keep us in tune. You know.
PZTV. Off. Comment. Off.
Okay. Making sure I got all that. Got one more to go. I'm coming with that one too. There it is. Now, like I said, man, we talking about motivation. Motivation Monday is one of those days where we get in here and we get it chopping it up with you guys about how to motivate your mind, get you to conversate and open up about what's motivating you, what's driving you to keep moving on forward to do the things you do. You know what I'm saying? We always look forward to getting your responses, because hell, hearing from me all the time is just boring. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think that's like the everyday thing. You hear from me all the time. I'm constantly giving you something that's gonna motivate the mind. I think of it as something to talk about on a regular basis, because we often have these conversations where we have these times where we're looking for particular things to talk about, or particular things that could motivate the mind, you know what I mean, to find that motivation that we are unable to always be aware of and locate, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know what I mean, I talk to you guys on a week to week basis with this conversation, because, you know, you never know that one thing that we talk about, or that one thing that gets talked about on these days like this. It could be that one thing that motivates your mind and gets you motivated and makes you want to talk about something. So you know how we do, man. We just get
Messages.
in here with
Instagram.
you.
Faces. Of
We
Donna
take this
speaking.
time
Shows live now and
to
sent her
show
live
y'all
video to
how we
listeners.
are
Watch it before it
opening
ends.
up to that conversation. We're
Message.
opening
Dojo
up
beats.
to
For
that
Jason's
table
official
talk.
Kapizi.
And
Shows
if
live
you
now and
are
sent her
down
live
with
video to
it, you
Dojo
want
beats.
to get a part
Watch
of
it
it,
before
you
it
want
ends.
to be a part of what we're doing here
Message.
and how
Listeners.
we
For
talk,
Jason's official
you know,
Kapizi.
what we're
Shows
talking
live now and
about.
sent her live video to listeners.
You have
Watch
nothing
it
but the
before it ends.
opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely something that if you're up for it and you're willing to take that in, just come on in with it. You know what I'm saying? We never discriminate on, the people here. We always want you guys to have a place to go, a place that you can call home. And that is what works for us. That is what helps us to feel, sane about life and about things. You know what I'm saying? We work on every day just trying to be, a better person and do the right things and hopefully don't see ourselves getting screwed over in the end, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, we only got one life to live, and if we don't live it the right way, then we know where it's gonna end up. And that's not even something that perceives to be something that comes from, what we know from the Bible, just, you know what I mean? That's honestly just one spectrum. So it's not even the full caliber of what's going on. You know what I mean? We look at all these different aspects of things that can be a form of what God would call punishment in a way. You know what I'm saying? So you just need to know, like, this shit is all transformative at some point. You know what I mean? And if you're a portion of this situation, or you're a person that really agrees that we live in a place where morals and all of that are, you know, set aside for us to be, able to organize our lives in a way that's according to a likeness of something that was, inscribed in our lives to be, the word, or, just something that, humanity values, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what religion is. When you look at it. But I mean, I'm talking in a different space. You know what I mean? Because we're definitely in a different space and time, and in the world we live in, you know what I mean. We have so many different things that, it's so many different pathways, I should say. People can choose. People decide to choose, and each is very unique in its own way. You know what I mean? We move on different things. We move different ways. Everything that, one person is doing is not always something that you're going to be more interested in doing, or you're going to want to do. you know um I realize that, you know what I mean. I also realize that, it's like we were saying earlier, in, in these days, we know that with everything that we do, with every, step that we make in life, we keep looking for, you know something that really speaks out to us, something that, you know what I mean, moves us to be encouraged to do the things that we should do, or to be better people, you know what I mean, and perform better, and just make you a better all around person. So today's objective conversation really just breaks down and wants to bring into a full view, what is a motivational point that you take in, or what is something that motivates you, and gets you geared to do your thing, do the thing that you want to do, or the thing that you do the most, and you love doing, you know what I'm saying? Or that keeps you driving forward, you know what I mean? Because we live in that world where, we gotta be willing to open up, you know what I'm saying, and see. We just, you know what I mean, we have to see what is there for us, what's opportunities that, we could take in, on top of what's something that, you know, we look forward to, and what's something that is going to make, you know, any person, you know what I mean, what's going to make you drive to meet that goal? What is the one thing that, you know, keeps you consistent to that goal? You know, it keeps you pushing forward to make that, you know what I mean? I look at all of that, you know, and I look at all of that mainly because of the simple fact, like, I know me myself, I know what it's like to be in a situation, you know what I mean, or just in a developmental stage in your life where you just don't feel everything is working, and you're looking for something that will, you know, put you in a grounded space, because it's not always something that sits out, you know. um I ain't gonna lie though, one thing I did notice is, whenever you decide to make whatever choices you make, decisions you make,
Pirate Black Fire
you
O Red
know,
Apple Live now, Commer Bay Red Apple Kids Smart.
you realize that it just takes a matter of before you get to a point where, you know, you go full into it. You know, you really do. It just takes a little bit of time. Some people don't always get into it right away, but it definitely is something of a thing. So for me, you know what I mean, I've always looked at, you know, how does that equate to me, and how does that work? How do I make things like that work for me? You know? Yeah, so that's just what it is for me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all about making, you know what I mean, making it known that I want to do something different. I want to make my, you know, my career path, you know, and doing that really changes the perception of what others think of me or what others have thought of me. You know what I mean? It's a
Pirate Black
very
Fire O Red Apple is playing
big
mixtape.
decision. You know, everybody is not gonna be okay with what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know that what you're doing is gonna change the game. It's gonna change people's thoughts, people's views. You know, everybody's not gonna agree with what you're doing. You know what I mean? Everybody's not gonna think that what you're doing is, you know, something that you should do. You know what I mean? But it's up to you to decide whether that is true or not. And if people, and to be honest with you, one thing that I've always noticed and I've been able to determine over these last years of my life, you know what I mean? People will try to hold you down if they can. And I don't mean that in a good way. People will really try to hold you back. You know what I mean? And it's almost as if they don't mean to do it, but it's because they don't have anything for themselves, you know? So all of this that you're doing could be overwhelming to them. You know what I mean? And it makes people say to themselves, like, listen, I don't want to see this person looking good around me, looking doing good around me. You know what I mean? Like, people is real, like, twisted like that. You know, and one thing I have noticed, if I've not noticed anything else, is mainly that. You know what I'm saying? People are just like quick to switch, and you can always count on that. Not many people are A1 all the way through. You know what I mean? Because it's so many of us out here that you want to be having that same rapport with, or even just that same conscious thought process with, but you know what I mean? It never really pans out the way you want it to. So where I look at things now is I spend less time worrying about what other people are doing, because to be honest with you, that's literally a way to get yourself caught up into something you don't want. Because too many times we have situations where there's people that really just rely on other people, right? And you would think that that would be the trigger for some people, you know what I mean? Like, because we live in a world where this sometimes is not a good idea. You know what I mean? Everybody is not the approachable type, just like everybody is not going to take advice the way that you expect them to. You know what I mean? Because it's just that serious. Like, it's so many people out here in the world today that don't see value in things that we all should see value in. So I mean, it's so weird, but this is usually where we are in life. You know what I mean? We're in a world now where people are just twisted, and it don't seem like it's getting any better. Um, really doesn't seem like things are changing for the better. But at the same time, it's also a matter of how we look at things too. So you can always change your point of view. So that's how I look at things now. So I know for a fact that myself, I'm gonna always experience different things. My experience will never interfere with how things work. You know what I mean, for me, or how I see things working for me. Yeah. So I mean, I'm here about motivation. I'm here about just motivating the mind and making sure that you know we can make some things transpire. You know what I mean? We're doing all kinds of different activities and moving into different things like in a whole new way. You know what I mean? Like the world we living in is changing every day, and we're seeing new things, whether it be good or bad signs, all the time. Like shit, we got fall. We're walking in the fall right now. We're getting ready to see leaves falling, the snow coming, and it's coming earlier than it was expected to come. And it has been coming in the last year or so. So even that is a change. Even that is a difference. You know, but we live now in a place where this is not always up for grabs as it used to be. Things that we used to be able to easily access and turn into something that lucratively works for us, not always working for us. But because, as people, we have to, have these drives. You know what I mean? We have to have a drive, and a drive about ourselves because, as a human, as people, we realize real early in life, no matter where we are and you know, much, no matter how much time it takes, we all realize that we have to do something to, get ourselves on the right tracks because good grief, if motherfucking doing everything wrong just ends up in a whole lot of trauma and drama that we don't necessarily need to see ourselves in. Like, think about it like this: it's always an alter. It's always what we like to consider an alternative idea to go rob a bank when you have no money, and or go grab a gun and rob somebody for some money when you don't have any money. But no one's really thinking about the objective consequences to that. And there is a consequence involved in that. You know what I mean? You rob a bank, most likely something may happen to you on the way out. Something may happen to you during that incident. You know what I mean? And you may not make it out there alive. You may make it out, but you might go to jail later. You know what I'm saying? There's never always a good outcome with things like this because we know that these are desperation moves. These are moves of desperation that people do because either they don't get around they don't can't get around the everyday norms, or they can't adjust well enough to put themselves in a stable living situation when it comes to the system and how it consumes a person. You know what I'm saying? It really is a devastating situation when it comes to the system, how it structures you, how it places you in these difficult situations almost always. And all of this comes from knowing that there is another side. And people being put in a position where they're now being tempted to take in that other side when they shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be an availability to the mental mind state
Banners.
that be
Tab.
something we can
Brand.
do. But
Selected.
because we live in such
Start 2.
harsh times and
StreamYard.
people are not as
Live viewer
welcoming
comment
as they used
on.
to be at one point. People
PPTV.
were
On.
there used to be a time when
PPTV.
people were
H. Comment action.
more friendly
Off.
to one another. You know what I mean? There was a time when people actually said hi and you got a response back, and it didn't sound like you were
HTTP.
about on the verge
Comment
of
action.
getting your head chopped off for
Show
being
folders.
a person. You see what I'm saying?
Off. Show comment on stage.
Too many times
Toggle
we
button.
deal
5 of
with
5. 5
all
items.
of these different situations, and like I said, you know what I
Start 2.
mean, we go through these
StreamYard.
situations as a
1.
way of
On. High
trying
comment.
to understand life and understand
Comment
people,
action.
because we
Off.
all know that people
The
are
T.
individually
H.
different.
Off.
No one is
The TV show.
absolutely the same, and
HT.
we may have the
Comment action.
same views,
Off.
we may have the
Show
same
folders. Off.
considerable viewpoints, but
On.
in all reality, this does not assort us to be anywhere near the same or alike. So, you know, for me personally, you know what I
Yes.
mean, I look
Button.
for
Double tap to
these
activate.
various conversations that we have to involve people like, you know, these particular individuals, so that we have a well-rounded conversation to research and look back on when it comes to the people that we're talking to, the people that we interact with, and anyone else out here that feels differently, maybe even from what we are talking about and from what we are saying is our point of view. You know what I mean? We have a very opinionated show here, and I mean, at the end of the day, like, I feel like everything we talk about here is up for a debate if you would like. But definitely, I look towards having an honest, open conversation with all of my people. Like, I like to motivate the mind and keep people moving forward, because we live in a world where we can't go back on shit
Show
no
comment
more.
on
We can't
stage.
keep constantly
Toggle
looking back and
cam.
hoping
Button.
that everything's gonna
Yes.
turn out for the better and all this
Mute
other
microphone.
stuff, because
Button.
we live in a world of
Yes.
now, and most of
More.
the nows don't
Button.
always get taken care of
Yes.
unless we are
Button.
the ones capable and willing to do so, you know. And it takes a pretty motivated person to do these things and get these things done in order for something to transpire in a good way or in a positive way for you, you know. And I know y'all noticing, like, even in this day, in this particular instance, hell, I ain't pick up my bowl, I ain't taking a spark, I heard my notification go off and all that shit. But I think today is that day. Today is that one day that I've reached, and I mail on I reached it with a, damn, I ain't got what I want, I ain't got what I need, and I wish I had it, but because I would be straight if I did, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not a big deal as to whether or not I have this or I have that. It really only matters to me if what I do have is something that can get me through to the next day, and that's usually where I'm at. Even if I don't have it, it's not a bad problem. It's not something that I'm, concerned about too heavily. I just look at it as, okay,
More.
one day
Yes.
without it ain't gonna
Button.
kill me, right? At least that's how I look at it.
Close. Participant.
And
Mr. Invite guest.
I'm
No next to phone.
definitely not like most people. Like I have a
Close
friend
modal.
right now that literally loses his damn mind whenever
StreamYard.
he
Studio.
doesn't
Web
have,
view. Regular weekly
something to
banner.
keep his
Facebook,
mental
the TV
straight.
show Misael Munoz Garcia reacted to their video What's
You know,
Motivating You This Week.
it's crazy.
Motivation Monday Live.
What's good, Miss Ayal Munoz? My guy. Long time no hear. I ain't heard your name pop up in my notifications in a minute there, bro. How you been? Peace and love to you, man. But like I said, bro, like
Overlay.
we really look
Graphics.
for, things that really
Mr.
motivate your
J-Gun
mind,
JTZ.
just keep you on tune with,
Banners.
where life
Tab.
is going for
Double
you
tap. Brand.
and what you
Tab.
should be paying attention to keep yourself motivated in the world we live in, man. We in a world where people is gonna find a way out of no way in most cases. Some people are just so determined to find you under their thumb, or they don't want to see you above them. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just talking about this earlier with my home attendant before she left out for the day. We were having a nice little well-rounded conversation. Like, listen, I have been placed in so much of a circumstance for myself because I have some people that have memory of me from when I was actually able to do this stuff, like staring at a screen and talk to you guys, and then be like, "Yo, where's everybody at?" Because there ain't nobody in the stream, or "Yo, go out here and show you guys some stuff that I've gone through or been around, and be able to give y'all point by point what's going on, like everybody, with good working eyes and a camera phone can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought that at this point in my life that I would be in a position where I'd have the ability to do what I'm doing. But I also thought about it in a sense of, with knowing everything that's been going on with me, and then knowing that, what I mean, what I want to see coming out of this, the way I want to see things coming out of this, I look at how I can be a positive influence, whether I could be a positive influence to myself or just be a positive influence to other people. Like, I literally just had to inform people. I had somebody who literally just hit me with a fucked up ass scam they tried to pull on me, right? Just straight up bank fraud shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck up my whole shit. And I'm talking to this person still verbally, like, listen, I understand the difficulty of what it means to not have money and look for somebody who's going to help you supply that money in any means necessary, even if it doesn't seem like it, even if it's not legal. I get it. I get it. Because I was once a person who considered each and every obstacle and everything that would take to get me from point A to point B, and regardless of how I made it, just make it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it didn't seem like it was legal or legit, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely have been a risk taker in situations. I put myself financially in this problem that I definitely put upon myself because of my poor choices as a child and as a young adult, trying to grow up and think that I was bigger and better than I could be, or somehow I figured out a way to beat the system that nobody else could do for years. You know what I'm saying? So we often find out along the road, if we actually live that long, that we just have to acknowledge that we don't know every damn thing, and sometimes we just need to sit down, shut up, and listen. And it's just that simple. Like, some people are so eager to prove themselves right or to be right, or so willing to go to the end of the road in order to prove that they are the right ones and you're wrong, that when they are discovered to even be wrong, it's almost as if they were planning it out and they are refusing to even admit to the results that are in their face. You know what I'm saying? So I myself, He's silly. Roland is a fool with it.
Selected. Brand.
Let
Tab.
us see, because I think I just
Cam.
heard somebody
Button.
sound like they came in.
One guest.
Yep, I'm in there. I
Modal.
see I got a guest coming into my show here.
Close modal.
We're about to find out what's good
Participant.
with my guy coming in.
Mr. CIN webcam option.
CIM
Dialogue.
webcam option.
CIN. Add to
Oh,
stage.
snap. Let's see if my guy is in
Add to
here.
stage.
We're going to bring him in real quick. Shout out to my dog coming in here, man.
Studio.
Miss Ayao, what's good, my guy?
How do I come in? How do I come in?
Do you hear
Oh,
me?
there I am. Oh, there I am. What's up,
There you
homeboy?
go.
What's up, homeboy?
What's good with you, my guy? How you been? Long time no
Hey,
hear.
it's been a while, man. You know,
since
since 2021, just been working on myself, bro.
I agree, as we all have.
I had a really bad addiction. It finally took me to rehab.
Oh, okay. So you working
Yeah.
out, man. And at the end of the day, it's all about making that first step, bro. We realize
man.
that. I just actually was talking to another brother who's actually in a halfway house doing doing his rehab right now. You know what I mean? Because he had addiction. So I understand, bro. It's something that we all have to go through and face at one point in life. And it's up to us to make the decision on whether we want to change these outcomes that we're already looking at. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man.
even for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm an advocate of recovering and taking it one step at a time, because we realize that every day is not going to be easy. Every day that you change and you're making that change is not going to be easy. Shit. A perfect example, bro. I quit smoking cigarettes earlier this year. You know how hard that is for a person that does it on fucking that's doing it cold turkey, bro. I have not grabbed a patch, taken any kind of pills or lozenges, none of that shit. I'm literally doing this on fucking cold turkey.
It's
Like,
worse than
and
quitting
it's not
heroin, bro.
easy. Yeah, it's worse than quitting heroin, because the addiction is that strong. And it's not even like it's like something that I feel like I can't pick up and put down, because dude, I don't even buy cigarettes anymore. I stopped buying cigarettes at the store. So I don't even go into the store where they sell Lucy's at no more. It's like, dude, I don't even want to go nowhere near a cigarette. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Personally. But it's so much of a temptation that I found myself even in the midst of trying to stay away from it, because my aide smokes cigarettes. So my home attendant comes by the apartment, she's smelling like a cigarette, and I'm just like, damn it, how do I get away from it? And it's not even her fault. It's not her fault at all, bro. It's like, damn, I can't change what's going on. This is basically, I don't want to force her to stop doing something that she is comfortable doing. You know what I mean? I know what I want to quit for, because I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 13. I'm fucking 39. I need to quit.
I started
You know
at
what I
10.
mean?
I started at 10. So I know what you're talking about.
Right. So you see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those decisions that happens to come into our lives, and it's like we have to be stern about it. But it's not always going to be an easy road, because, man, I'm telling you, 3 months down the road, I literally stopped smoking cigarettes 3 months down the road from the day that I quit. I picked up a fucking cigarette and had it in my mouth. Didn't even realize I was smoking the damn cigarette. You see what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I stopped buying cigarettes, all of that, but temptation is there. It's still there. It's not easy to fucking let go of.
Can I touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, you know, I've been into drugs and alcohol and cigarettes from a very young age. Like 10 years old, I was like, I think I have a problem. 12 years old, I was going to AA. And you know, I've heard all these cliches. To me, they were just cliches back then. But this time around, I made that decision where, like, I can't live like this, man. You know, unable to see my daughter, my youngest daughter, homeless again. I went homeless again after that long. I was out there for about a month. But like you're touching on the temptation's always going to be there. So like, what I've learned is like you gotta be willing. You gotta accept that you have a problem. And like in AA, they tell you got to get to a place where it doesn't matter that other people are drinking, because temptation is everywhere. You're going to be fine walking into a bar, walking to a wedding,
everywhere. You're so right.
Now, when it comes to cigarettes, holy crap, bro. This has been the hardest fucking thing to quit. I actually had 6 months, and I started smoking about 2 months ago.
It is a hell of a beast in itself.
Yeah,
was good.
And I mean, when I was younger, I quit a few times.
Yeah,
it's not as hard as it is today.
Not at all. I think the addiction rate for people smoking cigarettes has gotten higher, mainly because of the simple fact that they have induced a lot of these cigarettes that we are addicted to with all these chemicals that cause the addiction to be 10 times greater than it is. And it's not always easy when you pick it up and you realize that, and you're saying to yourself, you want to change, you want to stop it, but it's not an easy fix, or it's not an easy correction. Like my grandmother, for example, prime example of this, my grandmother smoked cigarettes for a while. She didn't smoke very long, but she was able to pick them things up, and then she said to herself, she don't want it no more. Put them right down, and didn't touch a damn one of them since. But here's the difference, though, with that. She had a very short time, and by the time she quit, it was before the chemicals were introduced to the cigarette.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying? We're talking.
I believe wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
they've made it more addictive. They've made it more addictive.
They really have. And then it don't help that the U.S. government is allowing them to do that. And not only allowing them to do that, they're exacerbating the situation by, instead of reversing the situation by maybe even taking the cigarettes off the market, they're actually going to say, hey, no, this is what we're going to do. Since we've got people out here that are addicted to this stuff, and we know it's not going to be easy for them to quit, we'll just keep raising the price until they don't want to buy it no more because they can't afford it. Do you realize that causes people to go into a desperation mode?
Yeah.
That's just like taking away a person's crack stem and they smoke crack.
I was just about to touch on that. You could be on crack, and it don't matter if they raise the prices. You hooked, you're gonna buy that.
You hooked, you're gonna buy it. It's gonna happen.
Another trippy thing that I come to figure out is ever since vapes came out, they tell you it's an alternative to cigarettes, and it's not as addictive, but you're constantly taking in nicotine. And so now I vape and I smoke, and it's harder for me to stop. It's harder for me to stop smoking.
Right. Because the addiction is still there. You're still taking in. You think that vape is helping you? That vape ain't doing nothing but making your addiction worse. It's intensifying.
Check this out. Mexico got a new president, AMLO, in 2018. And from the moment he went in, he got all the researchers in Mexico to check out the effects of vaping. And just last year, at the end of the year, they banned vaping because they said it's even more fatal than cigarettes.
Hell yes. Are you serious? Do you realize that they found that was when, do you remember? All right, did you hear about the case where that person died from THC vaping?
No.
They were smoking a THC pen and they died. Okay, this was supposed to have been the first case of marijuana death reported, right?
Right.
Do you realize common sense would tell you anybody that vapes, period, you're taking in burning metal, the fumes of burning metal in mixture with that THC liquid. So as you're taking in that, you're also taking in the chemical that they use to mix the THC and turn it into an oil.
Yeah, like
that is not a good combination.
Made with butane.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a good combination. Either way.
Not at all.
Not at all. And then you want to tell somebody that this is going to work or this is going to be an alternative. No, actually, it's just a faster way to kill yourself because this is how you cauterize your lungs with metal.
Oh yeah, and ever
not
since
even
I've been
realizing
vaping,
it.
I've been vaping.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I started vaping in rehab in 2021. And my
Facts.
breathing, they keep telling me that my lungs look fine. I just went to a doctor checkup, but I don't feel fine. I'm always short of breath, coughing.
The coughing is like is more like a sign, and then add that to the congestion and the breathing difficulties. So that
Yeah,
makes your that makes your problem seem worse. And this is what happens with people who have smoked and are smoking or have like had like long-term smoking habits, and then they turn over or they do stuff like vaping, and they start increasing the volume of how they intake the vaping. That is the same effects as like taking in about 5 to 10 cigarettes at a time.
yeah. I didn't know any
So
of that
that's
when I started vaping. Now my
and
mom
it's
wants me to
crazy
quit
because
everything.
I understand it. I definitely understand it, bro. So because I did a lot of research on it, and this was way before the vaping, quit vaping, don't vape commercials and all that stuff. Like honest and truthfully, I looked into like their process. You know what I mean? Superheating
Right.
cores of you superheating a vial of THC. How else do you do it when you don't have a lighter?
Ooh,
Common
okay.
sense. You know what I mean? That just tells you that you're burning metal. You know what I mean? Something that you're not supposed to have ingested in your system. It's
I've never
definitely
even thought of
toxic
that,
to the
bro.
body.
That makes
Yeah,
sense,
bro. Like
Holmes.
yeah, like and me personally, bro, like I've literally taken in the educational parts of this whole situation because bro, I wanted to be a part of that crew of people vaping and shit too, because I was like, I don't like the fact that I gotta go outside and smoke a blunt. I don't like the fact I gotta smoke a cigarette outside. I can't go in my house and do it, you know what I mean? I want to get me a vape. Then I thought about it, you know what I mean? I realized that because I was just like everybody else. When the vapes first came out, I was like, oh shit. And I started buying them too. And I noticed the same things you were noticing. The breathing, the fact that every time I would walk from my house to the corner of my street, I was damn near out of breath. And normally that doesn't happen to me.
Right.
So I was just like, yo, this is not right. Something's not right here. Obviously, it's something to do with the fact that I added in something new, and that vaping happened to be the one thing that caught my attention because I was like, yo, I just started smoking these vapes, and all of a sudden I can't breathe. I tried to smoke a cigarette and behind that vape, and it felt like I was about to kill myself. It's like the first time you ever take a pull off a cigarette and shit in the first time in your life, you got the pink lungs and shit.
It's like that's so true, you know. It's like you take that first pull and it feels like you're dying, but then you take another one.
Yeah. It's like you're sitting there damn near about to cough your head off. Your brain's about to fall out your tongue and shit, and you still take another drag.
That's fucking trip. That's how addicting that shit is.
It is. But you know, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I fight with it every day. I literally fight with it every day. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. The weakness hit me this morning. I smoked a half a cigarette with my aide this morning. I've been trying to take my ass away from the thought. So it's honestly something that you cannot. It's hard to escape it, especially when the addiction rate is this high. If you've been smoking as long as you and I have been taking it in, it's not as easy to let go of. But again, where you have to be at is you have to be tired of doing it. You have to be tired of taking it, of intaking it, and just letting it hit your system like that. You have to say to yourself and put your foot down to yourself, like, because I had to do it too. Like, bro, I went 3 straight months without a cigarette, and it was habit. It was out of habit that I even picked up the cigarette again. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I'm learning that I have my points of triggers. I have triggers and shit. Like, for example, I don't have any weed with me. That's usually my sedative. Yeah, like I usually, that's what I'm saying. Like I usually smoke my weed, and that keeps me calm. That keeps me out of my thought process for a cigarette. But I just ran out of weed last Thursday. So you see what I'm saying? Like I don't feel right at all. I feel off. It's like, oh, every
See,
day
that,
I've had weed and
that's
I don't
another
have
topic.
none now.
That's another topic that we could talk about. Like weed nowadays ain't even medicinal like it used to be. Like you getting that
No, it is
stuff from
not.
the shops, it's being laced with stuff. It's way too high
Mhm.
THC levels, and I've literally seen motherfuckers outside of the weed
The
shop
dispensary.
plucking shit. Like, hey, you want to buy this? Like to buy weed.
Yeah, it's like watching the new age of fiends turn over, like dead ass.
Yeah,
Because
man.
I had a homeboy that literally just 2 weeks ago did the same shit. He actually got he was sober. He was sober, had been sober for like 2 days and hadn't smoked no weed. Right. All of a sudden, somebody came over, to the house or whatever. In the building where he lives, it's like a public space in there, so you can go in there. It's like a common area. They got a little area, lounging area where you can watch TV and shit. So he's in there, and you can hear it from a mile away. I knew something was wrong. This nigga was spazzing the fuck out. They had the police at the door and all kind of shit. Dude ends up going to jail because he hadn't smoked weed and somebody pissed him off, saying nothing.
Damn.
It was nothing. It was over nothing. The dude might have walked by him or some shit, bumped him or some weird shit. It was like a simple mistake. Instead of him taking it as that, the dude just flipped and lost it because he didn't have the weed he usually has. But I said, dude, whenever you get to points like that, if you're sitting there noticing that you're getting on edge and you're ready to choke somebody the hell out over a lack of having cannabis in your life, you have a problem. You have a problem.
Yeah.
I seriously think that you have a problem and you might want to check yourself because, bruh, like I ain't never had times like that. And you talking about somebody that only at one point before even today, I ran out of weed. I used to only get weed that lasts me a week to 2 weeks. Then 3 weeks in a row, I'd be sitting with no weed. 3 weeks straight, I would have no weed. For like a whole week, maybe even 2, I'd have weed all that day, all that time. But when I ran out, I'm not willing to kill nobody and beat somebody up over a bag of weed. I'm sorry, it just ain't happening.
So like just based on what you told me, I've seen it too. I've seen that kind of behavior. Now I look back to when I started smoking weed at 10. Maybe I was too young. They said you shouldn't start too young. But even though I did start young, I never had any psychotic episodes. And recently, in 2020, I was smoking weed again. I started smoking weed, just weed. I had been sober from everything else. And by 2021, I was smoking like half a pound, maybe a quarter pound in 2 weeks. And I had a psychotic episode. I ended up smoking meth.
That's a lot of consumption.
That was just all from
Yeah, that's a lot to consume.
Yeah, and I mean like I got mental issues, so I knew the new weed. It's like I can't be smoking it like that. And it started with just like a joint a day to fucking smoking a quarter pound in a week.
Yeah, because I mean, me myself personally, I know how I do. I know how I get. So I'm type of person. I'll do one of these. I get something that I know is gonna last me at least 2 weeks. Like I'll get a vape, and usually if I get a vape pen, that vape pen will last me 2 weeks straight because I'll only take a couple hits. And if I get that first good hit off of it, I'm putting it down. You know what I'm saying? If I want anything else off of that, if it's casually outside and I'm out somewhere, I'll take the vape with me so that I'll have something to smoke while I'm out. And I don't have to worry about pulling a bag and some papers and shit with me or whatever. But if I'm at the crib, I might just motherfucking pack a bowl. But normally if I got a vape with me and I pack a bowl, that bowl will last me all day. 2 days maybe, because I will take a hit of that bowl, get that good hit off of it and put that bitch down. Because one hit will do me justice. I got a bowl with a nice bell on it. It's a dragon head. That some bitch is pulling like motherfucking Dragon's Fire.
Hey, for me, bro, like real talk, fool, I would have zero control over it anymore. And you know, before I ever try to quit, I would always have weed. You know, like I'll quit all other drugs and just be cool on weed. But this time around, it's like I can't even smoke that, bro. It gets me, bro. Like it gets me.
It's something about the way that they're treating the weeds now. They're growing the strains now. These different strains.
And it's also you know, I got all these mental disorders from all the violent shit that I went through.
Right.
So it weed never made me angry. Now it does. I smoke weed and I get aggressive.
See? Now where the hell did that come from? And that's something that this is something that they are trying to develop. This is a developing stage of the weed now. And that's crazy because you would think
it's definitely like a big rabbit hole going back to like government or something.
Yes, it really is. This is the reason why the government should have never been able to regulate cannabis.
Exactly.
We should have actually had more, you know, regulations as far as like how we possess it, as far as it being put in the possession of an adult. That's what we should have been regulated. Other than that, it should not have gotten to a point where we are taxating it and talking about opening up shops that have manufacturing plants that grow the product and all this shit. Right. Because now you're talking about something that they are putting into it to synthesize something that is already been contextualized as something that's really, really already helpful. It's very much sedatively put in a way, it's grown in a way that the product itself, as long as it's grown in its proper setting, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You really don't.
That's the natural
that plant will grow in a natural state, and all it can do for you is what it's supposed to do for you.
But you know, it became an industry. It's just like they're gonna try to put profits over people.
Maximize profit over people.
I mean, like it happened with tobacco. You know, when tobacco was first being sold, it was just natural. And now you got Philip Morris putting all kinds of shit in their tobacco.
Yep, there you go. And that's the reason why we have such a high addiction rate now. We have such a bad turnout for what tobacco used to start with. I mean, hell, I can remember the Camel commercials too. You know what I'm saying? I can remember the Camel Man magazine covers and shit with the guy standing on the damn on the little fence or the farmer's fence saying, "Hey, smoke a Camel." You know, we thought it was cool with the no filters back in the days and shit. All of a sudden they start throwing this shit out in our face like, "Oh, take a menthol, Marlboro."
You know, they had candy cigarettes. They used to put all the tobacco near the candy in the liquor stores.
Yeah.
All the tobacco advertisements
that wasn't able
right next to the candy.
It's like you don't think that was a way to make kids addicted. I used to remember. I remember that because I used to go into I remember when CVS, before they put it behind the register, and then, you know, they ultimately took it out of CVS stores, but they used to have it right in the aisles with the candy on the CVS. You go in CVS, walk down the aisle, and literally next to the candy would be a whole rack of motherfucking tobacco. You had the Black and Milds, a box of Newports, or whatever brand you smoke. You see what I'm saying? And you could just pick it right off the shelf, like it was an item out of the damn corner store, out of the grocery store to go get for a bottle of milk or something, out of the goddamn refrigerator or something. It's just.
Hey, I'm gonna put this thought in your mind. So it's all about advertising and marketing. And
that's true.
The U.S. One of the greatest marketing geniuses was directly responsible for the communist propaganda machine of Russia. And there's a book where he talks about how they control your mind through advertisement and marketing.
You don't realize that it's a repetitive. It's like it's the same thing with subconscious signaling. So, like, say for instance, like for example, when they were talking about the whole Disney thing, the behind the scenes imageries that show up in the animated scenes, and oh, that spells sex in the background, or in that cloud it says all kind of subliminal messages and stuff like that. All right, so when you are a child, your mind develops things differently, right? And it's the same process that takes place with adults. You can still mold a person to believe and be convinced to believe something as long as you continue to put it in their face. Queen of Stereo, what's happening with you?
It's like the campaign for Donald Trump. You know, like how many times did he spit lies that people start believing them? And I mean, that
oh my God! If you paid attention to the whole 2020, the year 2020, when he was going up for that general election. In April, he started talking about fucking vote ballots going into. He found ballot boxes being displaced and all this other stuff. He started playing in the seed then. So by November, then December, then January roll around, everybody was ready to kill somebody because it's like he had already put it in their head that these people were lying to you. They were scamming you out of your vote. I said, no, he didn't. He even convinced people that not going to the polls or not doing early votes was going to benefit you.
All these powerful people know about books like the one I was telling you about marketing and advertisement and mind control. Like, but it's funny. Look, a few weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, he was being interviewed, and he had a Freudian moment where he actually admits that he lost by like 2,000 votes.
Oh, really? I gotta see that. You had to send me the clip on that one, bro. Because I'm gonna screen record the shit out of that one, dog.
Yeah, I shared it.
Like, let me get that on there. Like, let me get in on that, because I swear to goodness, boy, he's still to this day. It's damn near walking into his next election. And this bitch is still talking about how he got cheated and the election was rigged. Bitch, you about to go to trial behind this shit. 91 counts, my guy. 91. It don't fucking get no better than this, bro. It don't get no better than this. This motherfucker is out here telling all you people to your face that he's not the one that they should be going after. This is a deep state thing and all that other shit. Meanwhile, y'all seen this shit. You seen him going out of the fucking White House with boxes of shit.
Right. See,
like, how do you not get?
Check it. A rational person takes all of that and you see the truth. But his fanatics, they're using all of that to feel more fanaticism. They're saying, they're going to execute our leader. You know, like they're attacking.
Yeah, they're attacking you. They looking at him like a martyr right now. I said, how do you even see martyrdom out of a person who manipulated all of you? He literally set up a campaign line for all of you to send him money that repetitively charges you. It literally automatically charges you. You have no way around it. And they didn't even tell you they was doing that.
Yeah, and that got a lawsuit and a lot of people got paid out.
Hey, that's why I was like, how is it? And you still walking with him. That's what kills me. It's like, it's still people out here that's talking about voting for him next year.
Hey, well, some of these people have gotten into little arguments on social media, and they'll say, well, what about Biden? They use
fuck him too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I said. That nigga ain't no different. He's just wearing a blue suit. The fuck is you talking about? Nobody thinks about Biden like you think. I'm a Democrat. I think democratically. I think about democracy. That's why I say I consider myself a Democrat. But I'm not caring about what Biden is talking about. Biden ain't shit either. Like, let's keep it real. That man has had a whole damn near 4-year term that he hasn't done shit for minorities in this country, yet he wants us to support him. Who the fuck is supporting you? It's like, you're lucky if anybody supports your ass in the next general, bro. Especially seeing as though you're shitting on the workers. You don't even want. You were literally leaning on the fact that you didn't want to give the rail workers the fucking their paid days off when the railroad companies were kicking them in the ass, telling them they had to go to work. Mind you, they've been working for 3 years straight with no days off.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that to the people that you know we need? We need them people. We need the railroad company workers. We need the railroads, but we need them to be regulated and working for us in the right way. How the hell are we sitting here dealing with you allowing railroad companies to fucking waste and drop waste all over our towns and cities, and you don't even regulate them? You're not disciplining them. You're not violating them for the violations that they clearly have on their record. Most of the railroad companies that were making all those oil spills and the chemical spills and in the different cities and towns that we're talking and hearing about, none of them have followed the regulations. All of them violated and were found in violation of fucking the rail rules that they were supposed to be getting regulated by our government for. See, so you want to look at the truth? You want to talk about the truth? This is the show to come to talk about true shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to lie to y'all about that shit.
Hey, yo, G, Peasy, I gotta get going in a little bit. I know it's motivation.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it, brother.
Hey,
I appreciate you
before I go, let me just tell you what's motivating me today. The fact that I'm sobering in recovery, and I'm gaining that spiritual connection again, and I could be of service to people now that because I have 2 years sober, and I'm sponsoring now. Someone like me, that fucking dirtbag criminal I used to be when I was younger, I would never imagine myself doing something for someone else without expecting. I would never imagine myself doing that connection to my spiritual self and the connection to that spiritual higher power is like all the motivation I need now, bro. It's the thing that wakes me up every day. It has me praying, all the motivation, and it has me thinking about consciously about every single action or thought, and it has me thinking about have or act on every single action or thought. And how I could better myself, be a better person. Yeah, man. How to better myself, be a better person.
That's beautiful, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like that's the kind of motivation, that's the kind of words that we want to hear that motivate the mind, that motivate the soul. It keeps you moving because we live in a world where, man, it's so corrupted. People are just looking to shit on you in every way possible. But when we look around, that's not everybody. We know that. So we have to be willing to give everybody the opportunity as an equal shake. You know what I mean? And we know that everybody's not going to be perfect, and we live in a world of imperfection. We just have to understand that and also know that with time comes experience and also the ability to change from what was once something bad, to something good. We don't always have to stay in that negative outlook. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, brother, for tuning in with me, man. And just like you got to get out of here, it's 8 o'clock, so I got to do the same old thing, though. But hey, man, I appreciate you for being a part of the show tonight, man. This is great, bro. I appreciate the conversation. Yeah, man, I definitely, bro. Like I said, we do this every week, bro. And then tomorrow we're gonna have a nice little topic talk about it, where we're gonna have a discussion about what you think would be the outlook of YouTube if they decided to put an adult version on the wall.
Adult version.
An adult version. So let's say, for example, YouTube decided to open a new pay firewall for adults to put their adult content on there. Like, say, for instance, the famous Jenna James decided she wanted to exploit this opportunity to put her explicitly new XXX rated videos on her YouTube channel. There's an actual paywall that that YouTube provides for you to be able to access that, but you have to be 18 in order to get there. So I mean, honestly and truthfully, I think it's no different than the Red Tube. But hey, I'll see what you guys think about it tomorrow. So you tune in with us and we'll see. Chop it up with me, Blind MC. Appreciate you, brother. You have a good night, man. I'll check y'all tomorrow to talk about it Tuesday. Hey. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Modal.
Beautiful,
Modal.
man. I
Button.
love it.
Double tap to activate.
I love it.
Pause.
Absolutely love it. It's a
Folders.
beautiful day, man. It's a
One
beautiful
more.
day.
End. No net.
We are already
StreamYard.
here.
Studio.
And we are
Web view.
definitely enjoying
Off.
the moment. So,
Show
hey,
comment.
tomorrow,
One
like
more.
I said, we got to
Button.
talk about it
End.
Tuesday.
Button.
Appreciate y'all for being a
Double
part of
tap to
us
activate.
tonight.
End the stream.
We're in here.
Close modal.
And we're going to talk about it with you. So, if you want to join us,
End the stream.
that's the topic.